BTC floating around 63K, little bit of a dip at the moment. Is this the start of a pullback that we were looking at? Is this the start of a week that's going to tee us up for some nice NVIDIA earnings and maybe some great entries? We've got a lot to talk about today, guys. I'm also updating you on TON, the current situation. Maybe there's a bounce coming. There's lots to cover here. It's Monday. Let's get right into this. And remember to hit that like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. I've got a special guest for you guys today. You might have recognized him from last week. Power, the 𝗟𝗟𝗘𝗥 legend. You know the likes bouncer. He's here every day. He's looking quite serious, but bullish. Okay, but bullish. A little bit red here, Banter bubbles. But look at this. Fetch is back, 9.8%, looking good. AKT, 9.8%, that's looking pleasant. And HNT, one of the tokens that you guys asked us to look at in the comments yesterday, that is performing. So other than that, a little bit of a mess, but I think it was inevitable. I think it was time that we got some kind of pullback. And maybe the catalyst this weekend was that TON drama. So if you guys weren't aware as to what was going on, I'm going to give you an update now on TON and just keep you posted as to what is going on. But let's first jump into BTC and let's see what they are trying to do to us right now. And here we are on the 4-hour. And you can see it's been a relatively quiet weekend from BTC's perspective. Now, if you were trading altcoins, you might have noticed you were printing on Saturday. And then they came with the arrest in France of the TON man. And then things started falling over a little bit for these altcoins. But right now for BTC, what we can see here on the 4-hour, 65,000, that is our big resistance zone. And this was always part of our plan that we were looking at last week. We were looking at this pump into 65. We were looking for that squeeze. They delivered. Okay, now they need to deliver the second part of my plan. And the second part of my plan was a little pullback for a retest here on a nice juicy horizontal. We're looking at the 50-day MA. We're looking at the trend. We're looking at a 382 fib pool. So for me, a big level here, 61,600. It's juicy. It's long for me down there. If we get that, we're going to tee these altcoins up on their corresponding levels. I think that is going to be our ticket to send. And if NVIDIA starts playing the game with us, well, then we are going to be good. So downside, what can we watch right now? You can see the blue line here is the 200-day MA. They trying to hold us up, okay, 63,300. Maybe we get a reaction there, maybe not. But for me, the high conviction zone, where am I looking for longs on BTC? Let's just highlight this again. That is my long zone, okay? That is the plan playing out perfectly for us. If we do get that move, you can see it all makes sense there. Nice little rising trend. So we do have Power friend here in the back, and I'm going to bring him up just now when I've covered some of the news, and he's going to give us an idea as to what the market is doing with 𝗟𝗟𝗘𝗥 this week. He's going to give us an idea if we are trending up, if we are trending down, and what he's thinking about, and maybe there's a couple of entries floating around here from him as well. So we're going to get it all. Okay, just make sure you're liking the likes and you smashing the smash, and you're doing your things. Okay, so let's get into the drama this weekend. And it was a bit of a soap opera here, the crypto situation. We have altcoins pumping, then they arrest this man, Mr. 𝗟𝗓𝗣𝗘, and basically now they are holding him for another 96 hours. Okay, is that bullish? I don't know. Is it bearish? I don't know. It's tricky. But we had a 20% sell-off or even more from TON this weekend. Things seem to be consolidating at the bottom. And for me, when this man walks, okay, in 96 hours, I suspect TON starts pushing higher, okay? And remember the deal. The market loves clarity. When you don't have clarity, the market gets confused, the market panics. But when they know what the charges are, that he's getting out, that he's doing all these things, I suspect TON starts moving up and pushing things a little bit higher. So from that respect, I think we're going to be okay. And Mario Nolfol just updating here what is happening. He's accused of not cooperating with authorities over alleged cyber and financial crimes on Telegram, arrested in Paris after arriving from Azerbaijan, okay, blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't sound serious, okay? And Macron, the French president, is not politically motivated, apparently. Okay, so there you go. That's the deal with TON. Let's look at the chart. And now yesterday, I gave you guys some FUD levels. Now, remember, you can always look at things from a big zoomed out perspective and just get an idea as to where we are. And then you can get lost in the 15-minute candles where you can get the scalps and all those types of things. So right now, for me, the first thing you do when there's drama in the air, you zoom out. Okay, I've pulled out the TON 3-day chart. Okay, this is the FUD zones that I've now highlighted for you guys. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. How did you know? How did everybody know it was my birthday? Let's go. We'll go bullish. We'll go bullish. You won't believe it. I'm 21 today. Can you believe it? For the 13th time, give or take. For the 23rd time. And here are our FUD levels on TON. Okay, here we go. 5.5, zone number 1. If you believe fundamentally that TON's going to be okay, if you believe Telegram is good to go and everything is going to be okay, 5.5, buy TON there. Okay, if there is further FUD and you still have the same conviction, your next FUD zone that you are buying TON at, 4.7, buy zone. Next level, 3.7. I don't know what they're going to be doing to this man for TON to get to 3.7. It could be relatively spicy, but you can see maybe the writing was even on the wall with TON. There might be a little hint of a head and shoulders there. Maybe we didn't pick it up. Maybe we were too euphoric. But if you take a look at that and you take the full size move of TON, it looks almost too good to be true that we might get this move into 3.7. So let's not say this is off the table. Let's focus on FUD levels. If you're a DCAer, if you're a spotter, those types of things, this is where you're buying. This is where you're adding to your bags. If you're a leverage trader and you're a scalper, these are the levels. You start looking for scalp longs. You start looking for structure. You start looking for breakouts. Very easy, very simple game plan. And bang! There we go. And this was our TON on the 15 minutes that we were now tracking earlier today. This thing is firing the way we like it. And this is exactly what you do. Okay, so if you're a leverage trader, you're zooming in onto these zones, you look for structure, you look for a little bit of action, and you can see what's happened here today. TON has pulled back nicely onto a 618 after that initial dump. So yesterday we got the dump. What did they do? Sent it up. They worked it all the way down. What did they give us? 618. You nibble around these areas, nibble, nibble, nibble. Then you get your trend break, and then the fun starts. Okay, so what is interesting here for me now on TON? We have at a break. The center pink line here is the anchored VWAP. We want to start clearing this thing convincingly. We want to start breaking through this guy. We want to really start churning higher. And if that is some support for us, then I think this thing is going to start grinding up. Now, remember, there's still tons of shorts here on TON, and this could essentially start squeezing. Okay, remember, there's a whole mixed bag of trades going on here, but I suspect there's a lot of shorts at the moment. So right now, let's see if we can hold this anchored VWAP here, 5.68. That'll be good. Alternatively, we now have a simple trend break. Okay, if you were long off these levels here, you can raise your stop to just under that breakout candle. And if you're looking for supports, you can use 5.55, and you can use the absolute lows at 5.45. So these are your supports now if this thing is going to start churning a little bit higher. Now remember, spot buyers and DCAers, you're just buying on those zones. I'm talking to the DGens here, the 20Xs. You know who I'm talking about. There's the man. He's saying, Bogdan's here. He's even wishing me happy birthday. He's one of the 20Xs that I'm referring to. Okay, let's get into a couple of other things. So Cointelegraph just reminding us, crypto investment products see their largest inflows in 5 weeks. Okay, $543 million in Bitcoin-related ETFs. Okay, bullish. Okay, that is worth a button press right there. What else we got? This was a little reminder. Now, I spoke about this one on my show last night, and I don't want to scare anybody. Okay, but we just want to be realistic with what can happen and what can't happen. If you watched my show last night, well, look away for 2 minutes because you've seen this chart. If you're only watching today, well, you missed a great show yesterday, firstly. And secondly, well, look at this, man. Okay, Geiger Capital. He gives us an example as to what's happened when the Fed has cut rates. Okay, in January 3rd, 2001, they cut their rates. What happened? 39% down for 440 days. We were in the dollies for 440 days. Goblin Town. Okay, then they cut in 2007. They cut it again. What happened? 54% for 372 days. Goblin Town again. Okay, here we are. September 18th, rate cuts are coming. Okay, what is going to happen to the S&P? So my theory about this whole thing yesterday was, and I stand to be corrected because this time could be different. We also have elections this year, so we are slightly different playing field, okay? But what makes sense to me is maybe we start ripping into these rate cuts. Okay, maybe we get guard candles on BTC 72k, 80k. We get ETH at 3.5. We get SOL at 180, 200, that type of thing. And then the rate cuts come and they come and end us. Okay, so just consider that as a potential possibility here, just using this information available to us. So, my basic feeling here is if we start ripping into these rate cuts, a little bit cautious for me, okay? Come the 18th of September, maybe take my foot off the gas there a little bit. We're going to see. I mean, naturally, I'm going to be here every single day. I'm not going anywhere, okay? If it's up, if it's down, I'm here, and we're going to carry on. We're going to carry on doing this no matter what they are throwing at us. So, right, let's look at this. Bitcoin Census giving us a liquidation map. So I've just used this one today, and he's highlighted 62k as a little hot zone here for us. And if you look at this chart on BTC, wouldn't that make perfect sense? Look at this nice little region round about 62k again. So just taking us back to where we were looking at these longs, 61,600, anywhere in that area for me, that ties in with that little liquidation hunter that he's got there. And that would be quite pleasant. I think we'd get a nice little move there. So a little bit extra juice there for the bulls off 61. So nothing to panic about now. 𝗬𝗢𝗣𝗘𝗥 says render just fell over. Well, luckily we're going to get our entries on some of these. So I've got these AI tokens teed up for you guys. Let's get in power now while I'm looking at BTC on the daily. I just want to get an idea here because my current view is this move needs to play out. This is my current move, okay? I'm looking for this move to play out. What does that look like? We're going to have to wait and see. It could take a while. It could be a mixed bag, for example. But for me, I'm looking for this move to play out. Let's get in the 𝗓𝗔𝗒𝗪 legend here and see what he has to say. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I heard there's some partying. We have you blown out your candle yet? That's the trick, right? Gotta make your wish first.
Yeah, a couple of
there
candles.
You go.
I've been blowing these candles on my screen, trying to get them to go up. Tell me.
Doing the dance, right?
Where are we today? How was your pivot party? And tell everyone quickly what a pivot party is.
Pivot party was awesome as always. We had a bunch of the aha moments happen, as you'll see in the post in Sniper Club. Every week we get new people who've learned new things from using the pivots, made great trades through the week, realized how to use 𝗓𝗓𝗪𝗓, how to use Trendx, how to use the simple tools that we have. And then they get these, oh my God, I did the basics and it worked and I made money. Imagine that. We had about 70 people join us last night. A lot of new faces coming out of Sniper Club, which we appreciate having everybody come in. And we got our 10 tokens in, ready to go. And, it's not as miraculous as last week because we've moved, but the way it works in the case of the pivots, you get a bunch of narrow pivots, aggressive moves. The following week, you're going to get wider pivots, some ranging, it recompresses, and then the week after, you're going to get those big moves, right? So
let's get up your screen. I wanted to see what is your sentiment for this week on BTC. I'm going to add your screen here. What are we looking at? And, are we getting euphoric? Do we need to wait? What is the plan?
Well, as you mentioned, 62 looks like an amazing level for a retest. We had, quite a good move over the last 3 weeks. And last week being that narrow pivot, broke up, perfectly hit resistance 2, and just kind of bounced off it a little bit. So right here, bottom of this week's weekly pivot coincides with the bottom of the monthly pivot and this key level that was acting as a serious point of resistance, which we've hopefully flipped to support. So ideally, we'll see a move down, tap the bottom of the weekly pivot, get back above the weekly pivot, then retest that for that bigger move up.
Okay. So we're on the same page. Little retest here. That makes sense to 𝗓𝗓𝗪𝗓. It makes sense on the liquidation map. Makes
62.
sense.
That's the number.
Good.
Right there.
Good. Okay, so we're hot on that. So we're looking for a bounce play. What does Bitcoin at 62 mean for us as altcoin traders? Well, for me, that means entry. It means opportunity. It means hunting for these areas here. This might take 24 hours. It might take 48 hours to play out, maybe even longer. But it smells like opportunity here. So Power has got, he's looking at 1 or 2 altcoins for us. I'm going to bring you back in a couple of minutes here when I start talking about some of these key altcoins. One of them is OM that I'm looking at the moment. It's on an interesting level. And then I want his comments on things like render. And 𝗬𝗢𝗣𝗑𝗪 says render fell over. So that might be quite good for us. And I think Tao we need to look at. So we're gonna get the man back on in a couple of minutes. Let's get into A couple of other charts here quickly. So you know the plan on BTC. You guys are happy. Let's take a look at ETH here. This is ETH on the daily. So this plan also playing out nicely. And, it's always nice when these things start respecting their areas, respecting their levels. And this is why I put so much emphasis on some of these things that I show you guys. And ETH has now pinged the 2,800 level. Typical resistance zone, 2,800 to 2,900 for me on ETH. Anywhere in this region is going to be a fight. Okay, it's a big area here for us on ETH, and you can't assume that we can just blow through a level like this on first touch. Okay, this was big support for us from already from April. We've had multiple touches there, so it'd be very odd if on the first touch these tokens just blow through. So you can see naturally here ETH is rejecting currently, and potential downside. Now, if BTC is going to track to our 62K level that we're looking at over there, let's get some corresponding levels on things like ETH, and let's try and understand what that looks like. So for me, it's really as simple as ETH going to about 2,550, maybe at a push. They're going to take us to 2,380. But for me, anywhere in that region on that BTC pullback, when we look for that bounce, that is where we're looking. And what is 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗏𝗏 says, my mama likes this. What's going on here? What is going on here? And I see the guys, there's so many wishes coming in here. I appreciate this. And thanks, everybody. I see Ferdy saying happy birthday, Macro, Mickey, everybody's going there. Everyone's doing it great, guys. And I appreciate that. Marcus says happy 40th. Maybe I'm pushing it a little bit more than just the 40 on the button there. But thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And just pumping out some info here for you guys on my birthday. Okay, here is some news on Solana. Okay, you might have noticed that Sol was actually looking okay, but we just had a little bit of news coming out. Pump.Fun, the thing propping up the Sol ecosystem currently, records lowest number of launches in 151 days. Is Tron really to blame? That's the question. I think Tron has played a part, but also the Sol memes is a toxic environment. Okay, it's 99% rugs in that place. And I think at some point people get tired of getting rugged. So, I think, they've just taken their foot off the gas here in the meantime. And you can see because Bitcoin.com, they're posting here, Sol daily transaction fees drop to multi-month low as the meme coin hype cools. Okay, people are tired of getting rugged on Sol. Okay, maybe they want to get rugged on Tron for a while, and then they'll move back to Sol, get rugged on Sol again. So we'll see how that goes. We know that Sol, Sol's a thing. Okay, and I'm still sitting in the Sol position here on Prime XBT, and this could get a little bit awkward for me. Okay, so I might get a full round trip here. So I'm going to show you my levels. I'm going to show you guys what I'm watching at the moment. But you can see I haven't changed my position. It's 34K. My average entry size here is my average entry price is now 147, and I'm going to show you the areas. I'm going to show you why I'm holding on to a little bit of hope here that Sol isn't going to round trip me, that Sol is going to hold. So this is Sol on the daily that I'm currently working on. This is Sol on the 12-hour that I'm currently working on. And you can see what we've got going on here. Look at this. We've got a nice clear resistance band. That was our 618 rejection. We've pinged this one now a couple of times again. And now potential flag here in this region. Okay, so this is what's keeping me interested in Solana. If we get some kind of flag here and some kind of pop. So this thing has behaved a little bit on its own. It's been less affected by BTC than some of these other altcoins, and Sol might do its own thing. So right now you can see key supports that I'm watching on the current number here, 154. That's a level for me. That's the 50-day MA and your 100-day MA. And trend. Okay, a little bit lower down, I've got the 200-day at 151. Where is my entry? Let's highlight that 147 just so you guys can see where my entry is. That is just under that little horizontal there. So let's see if we've got some fibbage protection here. I'm going to take a fib. Friday the 16th. I want to pull the fibs to the highs, and you can see I've got a 382 fib at 152, and that ties in with my trend and my 200-day MA. So I'm going to be relying on that for protection. We want to see that area hold if we do get a dip into that zone. So 152 for me is where it's at. That is what I want to see hold. If we do start reacting there, I'm adding to my Sol position. If we start getting a reaction, naturally, if we lose that area, they're going to come and rinse me out. Okay, you can see my entry is just above that 618. So I'm going to be under a little bit of pressure here. But that is my game plan. 152, I'm adding to that Sol position and looking for that bounce there. Let's see in the next 24 to 48 hours how that is going to play out. And here's the zoomed in version for the degens And you can see my thinking behind this. So we've seen actually quite a few of these altcoins today. They're double topping a little bit. Sol, not so bad, but we got a lot of these double tops. Okay, a lot of signs here that we could be getting a little bearish move. A lot of signs that we could be getting a little bit of a push to the downside. So for me, banking on something along those lines, you can see here's that 382 and there's that 152 region that I'm talking about. So that is a hot zone for me. That is your new entry. Okay, so if you're looking for an entry on Solana, 152, that's your DGen entry. That is where the leverage traders start sniffing around. It's the 200-day trend, 382, and some horizontals in that zone. So if you're looking for Sol, if you're not in it, that for me is your entry zone. If I wasn't in Sol, that is where I'd be sniffing around for my entries there, looking for a little bit of Sol action. Okay, let's talk what's going on this week. Now, the big one for me is NVIDIA. Investing.com says 3 things to watch this week. NVIDIA, okay, that's a massive market mover, and that's a crypto mover. Okay, we've seen in the past, NVIDIA is a catalyst for the AI tokens, and it has been a catalyst for the crypto market as a whole in the past. So we are watching that one. Then we've got US PC inflation data. We know that's pretty important as well. US Q2 GDP. Yes, I would say that is a bit of a market mover too. And let's just take a look. S&P still double topping. Do I want to short a freight train? Not yet. Okay, I think there is a shortcoming based on that theory about when the rate cuts start and we might get some kind of dump. I think that could be a potential short opportunity. Right now, we can see there's a double top. Yes. Okay, but we know this US market surprises us all the time. And if we are going to get a pushback lower down, 5,450 for me is still a buy zone. That is a bounce zone until proven otherwise. So let's see how that goes. And I would expect if an NVIDIA comes out on Wednesday with weak results, this thing is going to push down hard. This thing is going to put pressure now on some of these levels, but I would suspect we get a bounce. 5,450, that type of area is what I'm going to be watching. Okay, let's talk AI tokens and things. Mark the Shark says NVIDIA earnings are coming out this week, 28 billion in sales guided to this quarter, with Wall Street's average projection 28.6. Okay, they're talking big numbers here. Okay, it seems likely results come above this, but the question is by how much and how sustainable is future growth? Historical projection beats have been trending down, and eventually they will miss or disappoint. Now, you don't want to disappoint the American market. Okay, if you disappoint, they dump you. Okay, that could be a big problem. He says NVIDIA is a ticking time bomb on the AI thesis. Only question is when it will blow. Okay, so let's see. Q2 2024. Let's see what happened here. 20%. Okay, actual revenue beat. And okay, let's see how this is going to play out. But it's a big week for us here on AI and on NVIDIA. So massive game here. And CoinGecko telling us AI tokens have surged as high as 61% in the last 7 days in anticipation on NVIDIA's earnings. So if you guys have been watching my show for the last 10 days, I've been talking about this NVIDIA trade on some of these AI tokens, and you would have seen they've been outperforming quite a few of these other altcoins. And NVIDIA as a whole, let's just take a look, relatively stable here for now. Okay, so I'd like to see either a pump into earnings or a dump into earnings. I want to see one of them. I don't want to see too much flat action on NVIDIA. I'd like to see a move either way. That should give us some kind of indication as to what is going to happen. And I would expect a dump into earnings is probably going to be pretty bullish for us, because that dump into earnings is also going to probably put pressure on the S&P, which is probably going to put pressure on the crypto market as a whole, which could obviously tie in with some of our entries. So I can see a couple of AI tokens here. So one of the plays for me is NEAR. And this is now a layer one, but we've seen NEAR has had good ties with NVIDIA. We had the founder talking at an NVIDIA event and all these types of things. And they guys are basically calling NEAR the layer one AI play. Okay. And here we are. I see Mark Lee says Dylan should automatically have 100K likes from the start of the show. Guys, I agree. 100K likes, hit it 100K times. Come on. And okay. Let's talk NEAR. You can see what is going on. This is my AI play number one. This is what I think is going to start churning nicely. If NVIDIA results are decent for us, I think NEAR is where it's at. I think you need a decent entry on NEAR. And if you take a look here on the 8-hour chart, you can see we are putting pressure on that downtrend currently. Let's take a look at the size of the bounce from the absolute dump that we've had so far. And 69% bounce. Okay, not bad. Okay, decent move here. And right now we are trying to snag a couple of entries here. So what is my ideal scenario here? I'd love to see some kind of pullback on all of these tokens. And if we do get a move now on BTC pushing down into that 62K region, I would expect, okay, subject to dominance. We'll have to watch dominance naturally, but I would like to see near here at about 4.4. Somewhere in that region here, that could be the perfect little ticket for us. Little push into that zone, somewhere into that box there. 4.4 for me. And that for me is an alarm section. So let's put our alarms on here on TradingView. So you go to the right-hand side, you just hit the plus button, and let's go plus. There we go. So 4.4, that is going to ping me in the dead of the night when the Asians are dumping on us and they're pushing this thing down. So 4.4, high conviction entry for me on near. Then we do have a couple of alternate entry zones that are worth looking at. Okay, so this is where you need to pay attention. This is where you need to look for market structure and things like that in these types of regions. So what you're going to do, there's a lot of good fib pools currently from the 16th of August. Now, we had a little dump on the 16th of August, and that sort of created a nice little move for some of these altcoins. So if you pull your fibs from the lows on the 16th to the highs of where they are now, you get a nice little guide here on some of these fibs. So you can see this typical fib pool here from the 16th of August lows. You pull that to the highs, and then you start looking for some confluence here on these fibs. And I can see, look at that. We've got a little 618 at the 4.4 region that we know about. Okay, so we've got extra confluence now in this region, and then we've got this 382 fib at 4.7. Okay, so it's not a high conviction zone for me, but it's a zone. Okay, it's an area where you can get some kind of bounce, and naturally, you know, we can't say that that is the bounce that sends us north, but we can say this is a typical reaction zone, and these types of zones often are the ones that start your downtrend. So that little picture I drew, you could easily get something like that, a little push into the 382, then you get a little false pump, and then they start sending this lower down, and they wait for your next reaction zone, which is typically going to be that 618. So for me, 4.7 is a level. Am I looking for longs there? No. Where am I looking for longs? 4.4. That's my hot zone. That's where my alarm is at. And you can see we've got that nice rising trend as well, nice horizontals, and a couple of fibs there. So enough confluence for me to give it a go. Okay, that's a hot zone. Now let's talk render, and let's talk 𝗬𝗢𝗘𝗏 out here, and let's speak to Power as well. Let's see what his magic is doing with render. Give us
just dragging out some levels. Fetch is kind of giving us an advanced look at what render and 𝗬𝗏 and these other AI tokens are looking to do. If you notice, we left a bit of a fair value gap when we made that move midweek last week. On the way up.
What are we looking at? Are we looking at render? Okay,
this is
so
render,
can you zoom in? Can you just zoom in a little bit there for us?
This guy out here.
Get a nice clear picture.
Perfect. How's that?
Okay, nice. Okay,
perfect.
Talk to me.
Basically, when we came up, we left a couple for value gaps here. When we flipped this resistance to ideally to support, there wasn't a retest on it. So we went through. What we're thinking is, because we're just tipping the top of the weekly, the monthly is just below as well. You're gonna either see something like this, hit that center of the weekly where there's a fair value gap, come up, retest, and then break this. That's at we are talking 5.708.
Okay,
sorry, nice. 5.7 on the nose. You're either gonna see that, but if it breaks, you're gonna come a little lower, and then if we break that even more, you're gonna come all the way down to previous week. But with that being such a strong level right here, the assumption is you're going to come down. If you break this level, you're going to retest here and then your way back up, or you're going to retest here, get above it, and then ideally we break 6.9, and then we're off to Valhalla if the Nvidia news is good. It looks very similar on 𝗬𝗏 as well, like the same. They're following sort of the same structure. 𝗬𝗏 actually made the retest when it flipped there.
We're gonna get to 𝗬𝗏. Hold on. We're gonna get to 𝗬𝗏 now. Okay. So easy algo. This is nice. This is good confluence here for us as well. So what we're doing here is we're looking at regular TA that I'm using. Then we're saying, what is easy algo telling us? Are we tying in together? It's another level of confluence for us. So you guys know I use tons of things. I use fibs, I use horizontals, I use trends, I use RSIs, I use multiple things to give me confluence. And one of the things that you can use is easy algo and the pivots. Obviously, it's way more than just a couple of pivots. But that is a great start. So for me on this render chart, what I'm looking at here, you can see what's going on. This is render on the daily, and you can see we've broken a nice daily trend. And now, little retest. Okay, so this is looking lovely to me. And just on my chart here on the daily, I can see a couple of interesting levels. So for me, a little retest into 5.65, which is basically power. It's basically at your 5.7 level. So that's confluence there for us there. And I've got the 50-day MA and I've got the horizontals. Then I would expect, okay, if they're going to play games here, we get a little wick here on render. Okay, so we get some kind of move into the zone, then a little wick for me into 5.3 would be quite fun. Okay, I think maybe a little stop hunt down in that region, because guys are going to be saying, okay, no, we're losing this horizontal. It's time to bail. Maybe a stop hunt, and then they ping this 382 for me at 5.33. So I think we're on the same page here. 5.65 for me to 5.3, and I'd say alarms on. Okay, get the alarms on power's level there, 5.7. Get that on your trading view, and then you can start getting prepped and ready and watch the show. Okay, look for the party when they're dumping it. And I've got a little degen chart here for you guys that I've highlighted. And what I like to do here is just zoom out, look at the bigger picture. Then we zoom in and we say, where can we potentially snipe a couple of entries? And again, we got to look at a couple of things here. If the market wants to run away early, you can be prepared. Okay, so looking at the daily, our big level here is 5.66. Let's zoom into the 1 hour and you can see our 5.66 is here. Look at that. We've got confluence here on a 382. So we know we've got horizontals in that zone. We know we've got easy algo in that zone. We know we've got the 50-day MA in that zone. So now all these things are starting to add together here for us. We've also got this anchored VWAP as well in that area. So there's a lot talking to me now at 5.66. I think we've got about 5 points of confluence. So let's see how render plays out. But if we get something like this, okay, in that region, for me, we're looking for some kind of long action in that zone. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me on render. And degens, you can copy this chart if you want to take a look. That is hot zone number 1. Then lower down, we zoom out and we say, okay, cool. What do we have here? 5.33. Let's take a look. Here's 5.33 that I've highlighted for you guys. That is a potential wick zone. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see that ties in with a nice level as well. Okay, so there's confluence there for you guys. That is another potential reaction zone there for us. So both of these areas looking interesting here. Look out even for a wick into that zone. Could be a little bit spicy. Now, I have noticed in the past, render actually has front run a 618 multiple times. Okay, obviously this time might not be different, but we have seen a 618 front run quite a few times on render. Maybe it's that 5.33. Let's see if that's going to play out. So take a shot of this chart if you guys are looking and waiting for entries, okay? Or just rewatch the show when the market's falling over and make sure that that you jump in. Okay, let's talk Tower, because I'm actually glad Power's got Tower ready. This guy, Knight, injective to 100. I mean, this guy literally is bullish on injective. I don't think, I mean, he hides it quite well. But, you know, Knight injective to 100. He's talking about Tower. He's dropped a banger fractal here. Now, this is obviously naturally going to get people a little bit excited, but he's dropped a fractal here, sending Tower to 1,000. Now, that is a debate that we can have at a later stage. For me, right now, we're just looking for a little entry, okay? If we can get a few percent, okay, out of Tower, we can deal with 1,000 later. But again, step 1, what do I like to do? We zoom out. Here we are, Tower on the daily. Bang. Okay, broken trend, just like render, just like tons of these other AI tokens, just like tons of these other altcoins. What else do? We bang out. Where's our resistance? You can see we are sitting at a resistance band right now, 354. Okay, that is clear resistance. Now, if BTC is going to start turning over and we see weakness in the market, we naturally are going to look for some kind of drift lower here on Tower, and we need to see how that plays out. So before I jump into the lower time frame, let's talk easy algo here. What are you seeing here? What type of magic do you have here for us?
They were all playing that same game as I mentioned last week. We had this. I had a super narrow pivot on Tau, watching it break through. It, unlike the other two, once it hit this resistance up top, it actually retested to what turned into basically the bottom of this week's weekly pivot, and then rebounded. You're getting almost a double top coming into this.
Yeah.
So we're thinking that was the retest. And you should see it come again, bounce off the weekly pivot, If we can break this level 631, which is that resistance band, you should get the retest and then go. If not, alternatively, if we break through the weekly, which that's where this support is sitting, you'll get that dip below into that fair value gap, and then ideally bounce off support 1.
So you happy retest has happened already for Tower? Okay,
yes.
So let me zoom into my. Okay, so let's go into my lower time frame chart here that I've prepped, and limit X is it's almost time, guys. I think he's getting ready for some entries there. Okay, so here is my Tower on the lower time frame. Okay, this is a little picture that I've put together. Here is your retest zone that you've just spoken about, this 318.
Right.
Now, I mean, look at the confluence here. I mean, without you checking this stuff, I've got a 382 fib here. I've got the 100-day MA as well, and I've got some horizontal action in the zone. I mean, isn't this lovely? Isn't this a thing of beauty? Different ways to get to the same result. Okay, so here is our little retest. Now, are you looking for some kind of flag situation here and a pop higher from here, or are you excluding another visit to these lows?
I would say if we don't break through that support up top, or that resistance up top at like 360, one more bounce down to this local 382 at 328, which is dead center, the weekly pivot. Center of the pivot is the most powerful component of the pivot. So when it's slightly wider, we do consider just the center primarily. The top isn't going to be so good. So the 382 sitting there, you get it to this point, that's where you net a nice little pump. Yeah. So talk 327 for one more bounce before we go back to the upside. And based on time in the week, because I'm looking at it on the weekly, today being wide, you'll get some ranging as we go. And then ideally with that NVIDIA earnings, we'll see it do that dip, and then off we go to the top.
Okay. So, guys, again, it's no coincidence. I've just banged out a 786 fib. What did Power say? 327. Look at that. Bang. 327. There it is, ready and waiting for you guys. So what you can do, you can copy this chart on the 1 hour. You can see we are flagging. The last time we had a situation like that, we just trended down and then we broke that trend. If we get a similar result here, let's see. If we get a reaction here at the 618, that could be the trigger. Alternatively, look for some kind of action here, 327. You've got nice tie-in now with easy algo at those levels. That could be a nice one, a little higher low there. And then we are churning up. But I think we both agree here that the best play is some kind of pullback. Okay, so I think we agree. Like, we don't want to be aping in here at sort of random levels and stuff like that. So be patient. Okay, we expect some NVIDIA action. We expect something. Could be up, could be down naturally. But if we get a bleed out onto these zones, that's what you're doing. Now, if you guys want to know more about Easy Algo, there's a link in the description. Power is kind enough to give us a 3-day free trial, I believe. If that
Absolutely.
is on, there it is.
Absolutely.
And let me open, let's just show you guys. The link is in the description of the show. So you go under the show, you're going to see a massive shopping list here. And where is Easy Algo? There it is. Okay, it's about 7th from the bottom there. Easy Algo. Click on that link there and take your free 3-day trial. Okay. Alternatively,
if you're joining today, you did miss today's live training, but you can get in this afternoon for our afternoon banter. You'll pick up tomorrow's live training at 11 a.m. Eastern, plus the voice call, and then we have community day on Wednesday. I can go through the entire tour with you. I'm in the Discord from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. Eastern. And of course, the weekly pivots just came out today. We're watching the movement on the market. That's what we do every week. Monday trading isn't a real big thing around Easy Algo. We're prepping for those big ones on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Once we have market direction, and we nail them. We posted last week's results. 90% of tokens that we called, they hit their targets. That was a nice PDF and Sniper Club for you guys to take a look at, including those crazy. You're welcome. The crazy Sun and silly plays. We called them on the show here live, and then the news came out.
I'm still sitting in the stall. We need this thing to go. Okay, I'm going to jump into some other charts. Guys, you know the drill. He'll take you through a tour on the Discord. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get him back every Monday. Okay, so Monday, you're going to get some sauce here on Easy Algo. You're going to get some extra stuff here for you guys. So make sure you tune in on Monday's Power. Thanks for hanging. I'm going to bang on some more charts. And okay, guys, so link in the description. Naturally, if you are in Sniper Club, you're already getting a little bit of the action. Some of our members are trading Easy Algo already. I use it in some of my setups. And Easy Algo has a channel in Sniper Club as well, just dropping you a few sprinkles here or there. If you are interested, Sniper Club, or you are jumping onto 𝗬𝗟𝗪𝗚 if you want a taste of that stuff. Okay, so we've covered render, we've covered 𝗬𝗢𝗜𝗘𝗥. Okay, that's done, sorted. You got your levels there. What else we got? Fetch. Okay, another one, absolute banger. This one, Macro Mucky says this might be the last flush. Well, wouldn't that be nice? Okay, let's get prepped. Okay, let's get that flush into that rate cut. Okay, so Fetch, you can see what's going on here. Fetch on the daily trend pressure. Okay, we love a little bit of trend pressure. What does this look like typically for us? And quite often you're going to see something like this play out. You break that trend and you get some kind of reaction at a horizontal and then some kind of pullback there on some of these things. So right now for me, you can see Fetch has got quite a war zone ahead. 1.36, that's resistance. 1.44, that's resistance. 1.5, that's resistance. Okay, so there's a lot in the way. If you look at these green candles, it's screaming some kind of relief, some kind of pullback, something like that. Okay, so just let's not FOMO where we don't need to. And here is Fetch right now. And well, if power's still here, I'm sure he can work some magic quickly on some of his easy algo buttons there. But I suspect this is going to be very similar to Tao. Actually, you can see we've got that little double top play at the moment, and maybe we need to. Wait, let's just check in here. Let's see. Talk to me quickly.
As I was, if you throw up my chart, I'll show you. Fet was the leader of those AIs as far as I was concerned, because we had the additional confluence of it now breaking properly above that monthly pivot and retesting the monthly, smack dab in the middle of the daily. Similar retest, at the end of last week, but it's now clearing that area. So we're retesting the top of the daily right now. If I was trading Fet, I would actually be looking for a candle confirmation entry right now around 1.3394. Stop just below the top of the monthly pivot, because that's going to act as a great level of support.
So what's your stop level there?
Stop would be 1.287, 1.288. Entry around 1.338.
Okay, there we go. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you my chart now. I'm going to plot this thing for you guys. Okay, Power, thank you. Now you're excused. Thank you. Okay, so that was cool. Okay, some more confluence here for us. Here is Fet on the 1 hour. Okay, so the first thing we can see we got a rising trend. That's great. Okay, rising trend in play. That is bullish. As long as we're in that rising trend, we remain bullish. What happens though if we start losing the trend? Well, then potentially we need to turn a little bit bearish, even if it's for a short term. Okay, so now what he's telling you guys here, there might be a scalp in this region, and you can start using this zone as your support. So typically you're looking for that little dip, if anything, onto trend, and then you're looking for that little scalper play higher up. Now, the signs are there. Okay, there's a double top in play. Okay, so we need to just be a little bit careful here. If we get to that trend, naturally, there's an opportunity for you. There's your stop, 1.285. That is your potential stop zone. If we start losing this trend, then things start turning a little bit bearish for us. And we're going to have to naturally see how that plays out. But you can see what's going on here. If things really start getting ugly for us, then we get this bigger problem. Okay, we deal with a bigger problem later. Right now, we're in a bullish uptrend. Okay, you've got a potential support zone, 1.31. You've got a support level, 1.285. If you're looking for an entry, there might be a little scalper here on Fetch. Okay, if we lose that trend, then we're potentially turning bearish, and we need to hunt for entries a little bit lower down. And for me, the big one for me is 1.79. Okay, that's 1.18. Okay, call it 1.18. Watch that region over there. That's a potential big bounce zone if we lose it there on Fetch. Okay, and then one more update for you guys, GRT. No new entries yet for me. We're going to keep this one super simple. Okay, I'd say if we get a nice meltdown now on BTC, I'm looking for GRT again at 0.1545. Okay, you can see it's a typical little move here. We're testing the downtrend, we're testing the rising trend, 382, and big daily levels here for us. So there's a little setup here on GRT. I would put my alarms on, so just get it just above that level. So I'm going to put an alarm here, 0.155. I'm putting an alarm for GRT. They must wake me at night, okay, when they're selling us into the zone. I think that's a nice long opportunity. And then simple little targets for you guys, 21, and a little bit higher, 24, 246. Okay, nice targets there. Upside is a 60% move if we can get this thing firing off from there. I know Bogdan's going to be happy. He's sitting in GRT, I believe. And let's see what else is going on here. Cameron says Fet is going back to 3. Okay, is that back up or is that back down? Yeah, back up. I think that's realistic. It might not be a straight line though, so it could take a little bit of time there. Not necessarily a straight line. And I've got Jans van Jansington says, "Give me some OM." Okay, let's see if I'm not stopped out yet on OM. Let's see what we got. Okay, I'm a little bit underwater here, so I'm trading. Oh, that's Brett. Okay, I'm going to show you Brett and OM. You can see what I've got here. I'm trading OM on 𝗬𝗡𝗏 currently. Okay, this is a KYC-friendly exchange. You guys know I trade with this one regularly. You've seen the show. They've actually got a new offer for you guys at the moment, and they are non-KYC. Okay, the lowest fees. Look at these fees. Make a fee 0. Take a fee 0.01%. That's basically naught. Okay, that's nothing. And they've got a special offer here for you guys for signing up. And this was valid from the 21st. Okay, all users from my link here under the show. Okay, you get your special trading fees. Okay, so you need to be on my link to have no fees. Okay, during the event period, users who register and meet the requirements of a $100 deposit and you trade more than $1,000 in total, you get a chance to receive 30 USDT futures bonus. It's limited to 50 users. Okay, there are a few gaps left for you guys. Okay, we've used up like 10 or 15. So jump in there. You're going to get a 30 USDT futures bonus there for you guys. It's limited to the first 50. Okay, so fastest fingers first, literally. And the link is here in the description of the show for you guys. So 𝗬𝗡𝗏, and that is that. So you can see what I've done. I've started a position on OM. And I'm going to give you my thinking behind it. And you can see I'm still sitting in 𝗪𝗡𝗡 lower down. This 𝗪𝗡𝗡 position that goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out this week. If we get a heavy pullback in the market, naturally, I'm going to get stopped out at entry here on 𝗪𝗡𝗡. But it was one of my trades that I wanted to leave open for potentially some bigger things. So first one, before we do OM, here's Brett. Okay, I'm interested in Brett. And I think we're going to get a move here out of Brett potentially. So there's a couple of things I'm using at the moment. So let's just clean the screen up for you guys. And Brett was one of the tokens I highlighted last night. We were getting a little bit of a sell-off. And on the Sniper Club live session that we did, Brett was on my radar. So the interesting zone for me that I was looking at was this current region. The reason being we had a 618 pull from the highs after that upward listing. Okay, that thing really pumped. Then there was a big rejection. Now we've been bleeding out into a zone of interest here for me. Now this area as a whole is interesting. We've got the anchored VWAP, I've got a 618, and I've got horizontals. And then using my MDX algo, I'm just clicking on the auto charting tools function here. And you can see I've got an order block in this region as well. So there's potentially something going on in this zone. You can see we've got this liquidity over here floating around in this area. Looks pretty interesting down in this zone. So I'm basically waiting for a little reaction here on Brett. We want to see what type of move we get. You can see this is efficient. Well, this is technically what I was looking for. A little push down into this region here, and then we can add on that trend break. So let's see how Brett reacts in this current order block zone. Let's see what type of move we get here. So I'm watching the 0.089 to 0.09 level pretty closely here. Let's see if we start getting some momentum, this thing should start pushing higher. Alternatively, if Bitcoin starts falling over, I've marked out your next area. Okay, the next area, you're going to look for the exact same thing. You're going to look for some consolidation on that level. You want to see it sniff around, maybe some kind of stop hunt just under these levels here, and then some kind of push higher. So simple little game plan. This is for leverage traders and who are looking to snipe some really accurate entries. This is pretty much how you can go about it. So mark these ones on your chart. It's 0.089 to 0.09. Let's see if we get some structure here. Alternatively, further meltdown in the market, 0.0827 is what I'm watching there. That should give you guys something. Preparing for war. So this is AVAX short is still looking good. Well, the man's name is preparing for war. Okay, he obviously likes the blood in the market. Okay, here is OM. Okay, this is OM on the 8 hour, and I just had to have a look. Okay, you can see I started a small position there on 𝗬𝗡𝗏, and you can see why I've started a position here. Okay, you can see OM on the 8 hour. We've broken this downtrend. Okay, interesting. Okay, tick that first box. Downtrend has been broken. What did we reject off? 50-day MA. Okay, classic, basic TA stuff here. Okay, rejection of 50-day MA and horizontal, nice rejection. Now we are retesting the trend. Okay, what are we retesting? We're retesting a couple of things. Okay, let's zoom in here. You can see what we've got. We've got, first thing, we've got a fib pull from the lows of this dump on the 20th of August, to the highs. I've got a 618 in this region. Okay, we know typically the 618 gives you some kind of reaction. Then I've got the gray line here. This is the 100-day moving average. You can see this guy pushing up over here. There's my 100-day moving average, a level of confluence there, number 2. Then I've got a bigger 618 pool here. Okay, so I've got 3 levels of confluence, and then I've got my trend. Okay, so I've got 4 levels of confluence here, tied in with some horizontals for OM, and that is why I started sniffing around in this area. Okay, let's pull out some trend X. Okay, let's see. Okay, there's a clue for you guys. And if Power is still here, the man's still here. Let's get him. Do you have OM?
I was watching that OM. I was like, which way did he open a short? No, you went long.
I'm looking for a bounce. Okay, so talk to me. I can see this weekly pivot. I've just highlighted this weekly pivot. It's actually above my current level. So to me, this tells me we need to reclaim this weekly pivot quite quickly. Alternatively, all this thing is going to start drifting a little bit lower. So do you have it on your screen there?
I do. If you want to bring me up.
Let's see.
You noticed when you had your chart up, it hit last week, the weekly R2 perfectly and rejected, which also coincided with the monthly pivot. So it took a big hit when it hit that and rejected pretty well. When we came into the weekly last night, price did start below the weekly on the 4-hour. You're literally just losing the 200 MA right now, and price did start below the daily yesterday on the new chart. So in the easy algo strategy structure, this was everybody is looking to short that. This is perfect short entry here, perfect short entry here, and hopefully that bullish fair value gaps you're seeing underneath on the 4-hour is where you're going to get your bounce. So you come down to previously basically the middle of last week's pivot around 0.907.
0.907. Okay.
Clear some of that bullish fair value gap, get a nice bounce off it, and just hopefully to return yourself back up. We state that we won't tell any of our traders to even touch it until we get above that weekly pivot. Your bonus is that is a super narrow weekly pivot this week. So if you can reclaim that by tomorrow or Wednesday, you should be able to get a nice move off of that, hopefully to retest that monthly pivot.
Okay, let's pull this up quickly. Let me pull up my chart. Let me show you guys what is cooking here in the kitchen. Okay, so you can see what's going on here. We've got the 100-day MA. I've got a 618. I've got a trend retest. I've got my horizontals. That level that Power wanted there, 0.907, you said.
0.907. Yeah, 0.908.
0.97. Okay, so here it is here. Let me just highlight that level there. Okay, so that is going to be your potential lows where you're looking for that bounce. Okay, so this actually gives us quite a pleasant little area here if you want to try this thing. Okay, so your potential move here, that could be your exit point. So if you start closing under that level, to me, that tells me that we are potentially going lower. And if we are going to go lower, okay, for me, that's the lows. Okay, you can see what's going on here. That's going to be around about 84, somewhere in that region we're going to be looking at. So right now for me, I've started along. Let's see how we go in this zone. Let's see if we get a little dip down into that area and see how that plays out. So that is my strategy there. Okay, naturally, this is going to be tied into BTC not absolutely shitting the bed and going back to 61,600. It's as simple as that. Okay, so if BTC is going to drop, it's going to pull the whole market down with it. Like you've seen, we're waiting for entries on Render. We're waiting for entries on Tower. We're waiting for entries on Fetch. We're waiting for entries on tons of things that I've just given you. So OM is an outlier here for me because it's sitting on an interesting level and I don't want to ignore it while it's sitting there. Okay, so that is the game plan there for me. And again, it's a small position. Let's see how it plays out. You've got a little exit plan. And if we get some momentum, then naturally we want to try and send it back to this 1.06 level somewhere in that region. And then your backup level lower down, 0.84, 0.82, somewhere in this region. That is where we can start sniffing around again for a little bit of action. So it's as simple as that. Okay, Power, now you may be excused.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And okay, guys, so you get the deal, okay? Different perspectives all over the place. If you want some easy algo action, you know what to do over there. And then one of the comments you guys left, remember, I like it. If you guys in the comments for me, drop the tokens you want me to chart, and then we'll chart them for you. The last one you did, Ray sent me, was HNT. So let's look at HNT. Any tokens you want me to look at tomorrow, drop them in the comments here, and we'll make sure that we can cover some of them for you. So let's bang out some HNT here. Let's see where we are. this thing's still looking super bullish. I mean, we covered this one not too long ago, and this thing's looking nice. Okay, let's see. HNT on the daily. Ooh, okay, wait. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to start from scratch here. We just want to get an idea as to what is going on. And I mean, this immediately now looks quite interesting here. Let's go. Let's start with some fibbage. I'm going to take a fib from this low to the high. I want to look for some tie-in. Okay, we can see some interesting levels there. Let's bang out our 382. Bang. Okay, you can see right now, HNT is reacting off our 382 level. And you can see we've got some horizontals tying in here as well. Okay, this could be the start of our potential downtrend. Now, typically when we get the 382s, okay, they sometimes ignite your first sort of downtrend. So you could have a situation, something like that we could potentially be playing on. But right now we play what is in front of us. And what's in front of us? 6.25, reaction zone, bounce zone. That is your support on HNT. I've got another big area here for you guys. This guy, horizontals and 200-day moving average, bang over there. Looking for 5.56. Okay, nice little support zone there for you guys as well. So HNT looks good. Okay, looks super bullish. It's about time this thing starts breathing and pulling back a little bit. Hopefully some kind of bullish pullback for you guys. Right now, reaction zone 1 has been ticked, 6.25. Reaction zone number 2, 5.55. That looks hot to me. And then 5.1. All of these are reaction zones. All of these are potential bounce zones for you guys. And all of these could be potential entries for a much bigger move higher up, provided the market stays pleasant, provided BTC holds that 61.6 that we have been eyeing out. So that is a wrap on a Monday. Okay, AI, that's the play for me this week. Looking for those entries. OM, let's see if that plays out. Brett, looking interesting here for me as well. But if we get a pullback on the market, I'm loading up Render, Tao, Fetch. That's what I'm looking at. If we get that pullback in the next 24 hours, we could have some fun leading into NVIDIA. Guys, have a great rest of your day. I might go drink or something for my birthday. Who knows? We'll see you guys tomorrow.